Here are your Court News Ohio top stories in 5 minutes. It was a special homecoming for the Ohio Supreme Court this week. They traveled to Marietta to hold an off-site session before 9 area schools. This was the first place the court traveled 30 years ago to bring the experience to places that otherwise may never see the justices hear oral arguments.
I love it. I think it's so cool. I know that the Supreme Court is open to people, that we can go in as the public, but none of us really take that opportunity. So for them to come down here and give us this experience, it's just really nice.
The 7 justices started with a question and answer session.
How do you get elected as a judge?
Great question. All right, let's do with the newest elected justices.
And during the course of the campaign, I traveled about 110,000 miles on my car, met a lot of interesting people.
One student asked how justices put their personal beliefs aside to decide cases.
We take an oath to support the Constitution and the laws of the state of Ohio.
The students asked about the difficulties of being a judge and a politician with the demands of campaigning.
You need 2 things. You need a very good car. 107,000 miles, his was 110, right? And you gotta love chicken, because at every dinner, there's chicken.
They've got a sense of humor. I liked that. They were really witty and they came back really fast. And that was funny, and that's always a good thing to know, I think, because, you know, you're just used to seeing them in such a formal setting that it's good to see them sort of branch out of that and talk. And they're very intelligent.
They also offered some advice to the students.
Follow your dreams. That's what I did. I'm retired from the Army. I didn't go to law school until I was 30 years old. And after almost 20 years of it, I went to nursing school and became a registered nurse. And it was just appealing to the inner self is what it was. And you guys are about to start the adventure called life. Follow your dreams. It doesn't matter what you're doing today. What do you want to do tomorrow?
Marietta was the setting for Supreme Court oral arguments on the controversial practice known as fracking. Fracking, also known as hydraulic fracturing, is the process of injecting liquids at high pressure into subterranean rocks to force open existing fissures and extract oil or gas. A group of homeowners are trying to seek a government order from the Ohio Supreme Court, claiming Chesapeake Exploration violated their rights by drilling for oil and gas without permission of the homeowners and with the assistance of the state of Ohio. Court News Ohio TV asked students at the offsite court on their feelings about the case.
It's pretty important because there's a lot of oil wells and drills, especially in the past few years, that have gone up, and there's been a lot of disputes about it, especially recently. But as the petroleum industry has kind of died down in the past few years, it hasn't been so much of an issue, but it's definitely still present.
The state argues that the homeowners shouldn't request a Supreme Court order. They should go through the process outlined in the law.
I thought that there were many holes in both sides, and I really enjoyed how the justices just went straight for those holes and tried to squash it like a bug.
Marietta is in the thick of the fracking debate, in this case pinning homeowners' rights against those of the oil and gas companies.
The fracking case kind of hit home for a lot of us because a lot of people around here do lease out oil and mineral rights, and many try to choose not to. And seeing them take a case that had to do with us in our area was really neat, and to be able to see, this case will affect us.
The November general election is just around the corner. Do you know who your candidates on the bench are? If Ohio voters want to learn more about judges vying for a seat, all they need to do is go to the Ohio Judicial Votes Count website. Voters can click on their county to get to know their judicial candidates. JudicialVotesCount.org was created after a 2014 survey showing that most of the 1,067 registered voters who responded said they don't vote for judges because they don't know enough about the candidates. To access the site, go to JudicialVotesCount.org. That's a look at Court News Ohio's top stories. Visit courtnewsohio.gov for the latest headlines on Ohio's courts. You can also follow us on Facebook and Twitter.